Hi, welcome back to Velo News TV. I'm Neil Rogers here at the start of Stage 12 on Montpellier with Chris Horner, another chapter of the Chris Horner Diaries. Chris, yesterday the bus was broken down. Today you're rolling in 10 minutes before the start.
Yeah, we just like to keep it exciting here at Predictor Lotto.
Were you guys stuck in traffic?
Yeah, stuck in traffic or lost. I'm not for certain exactly which it was, but there was a lot of traffic. That's what they told us.
Have you ever actually been late to a race? You ever been on a team that showed up to the race after the start time? Do they hold it for you? What's the protocol there?
I'm pretty certain they'd hold it, at least for a little bit. Of course, all the directors have telephone numbers of everyone, all the commissaires, the judges, all that kind of stuff, the other directors of the team. So if we were running late, they'd give a call, let everyone know we're running late by how much time. In the tour, they'd probably just send a cop out to come get you or something and speed it up a little bit. But I've never actually ran late. I've never missed a start. I've ran late multiple times, but I've never missed a start. Let's clear that up. I've definitely ran late, but I've never missed a start. So,
well, hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about yesterday's stage. There were sort of two key factors, I think. One was the split. Astana went to the front, rode the echelon, gapped the group in half. We know you made it in the front. And the second was the crash in the last kilometer. So maybe your perspective on both of those.
Yeah, well, they started off fast all day long. Right away, big break went, 10 guys, another 15 guys chasing those 10, then the field right behind. But up in front, you had guys that were only 6 minutes down on GC. And right now, this Tour de France, nobody wants to give anyone back the yellow jersey or give anyone back a chance at even running for the yellow jersey. So even at 6 minutes down, they're not going to let you go. I think you'd have to go just at least one guy back behind me and go 12, 13 minutes back down on GC before they're going to really let anyone gain 10 minutes and come back up to be a threat on GC in this Tour de France. Years past with the strong time trialist guys that could win the Tour, they're willing to give guys 20 minutes and then just take back 10 on each climb, and then after that take back another 5 on them in the time trials. But this Tour, they're not willing to let those guys go up the road. So we were chasing hard all day, brought back all the groups. Group of 5 went, knowing a threat. Everyone thought, whoa, this is nice. We'll ride in easy. Lots of crosswind going through the feed zone. Astana waited to probably a K or two at max. I'd say probably a K after the feed zone, and then they put it down. They put it down hard.
Did you anticipate that? Did you know it was coming?
I didn't know it was coming, but I anticipated something. The wind coming through the feed zone was unbelievable, how much crosswind it was. And it's the Tour de France. We got one objective to look after Cadell. He knows he wants to be at the front at all times. And so going through the feed zone, I just made 100% certain that I was at the front when I took my feed. I had literally enough time to take my feed, have a Coke, eat a bar, and all of a sudden you saw the Astana guys mass at the front. And there's only one reason when guys do that. And so they put it down, split the group. Then after that, the real story is that they split the group, but they really didn't have a whole lot of reason to keep going, but they still kept riding anyways. And then because Moreau missed the move, and some say he was back there changing his shoes or seeing the medical car, I'm not certain which, but he missed the move. A couple other guys that were semi a threat on GC, but not a big one. I'd say only Moreau was the only big threat. They rode, and then of course Quick Step rode just to bring the break back so they'd have a chance to win with Moonin, and so did Barloworld. Barloworld also rode too. So on top of that, you had Sonia Duval ride. So you had 4 teams riding there at the front to keep Christophe Moreau out of GC and also to bring back the stage for the win. And then as we came down in the final, I took Freddie up to Boonin's wheel. My job was to look after Freddie right at the finish. Dario Ciones was to look after Cadell. I dropped Freddie off right behind Boonin with 2K to go or something. As we come down the descent into the twisty turn there, guys just went in too fast, caught the curb, flipped over, and went onto the guardrail. So
I think there was some complaints that maybe that wasn't properly marked on the tour book. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely, from what I understand, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to how the finish was. I knew the last corner was coming to the right, but I didn't pay a whole lot more attention to how it was going to come down and go into the turn. Freddie's job is to pay attention to the last part of the race there because he's going to do the sprint. He says he didn't realize it'd be that bad. In theory, I don't think it was really bad. A little bit, but it's bike racing. You're never going to find the perfect course. I made the turn no problem when I was on the inside when everyone else was crashing. So if the sprinters sprinters being sprinters, man. They're taking up the whole road and they're hooking guys left and right. And when you come into a corner like that people weren't prepared for, they just overshot it a little bit too fast. No one wanted to give up any speed. And like the sprinters say, you hit the brakes, you're not going to win. Right. And at that point in time, if you hit the brakes, you're not going to win. So they went in there completely hot, and the guys that did paid for it, and the guys that were just behind paid for it. So Freddie was actually behind the first initial part of the crash, and he just had nowhere to go except for straight into the barrier.
There he is right behind you, so maybe we'll ask him after this.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we saw Zabriskie out yesterday. Did you have a chance to talk to him anytime during the stage or after the stage?
Yeah, Brisky, I won. No, Zabriskie's a great guy, fantastic rider, future of the U.S. guys coming over here doing the tour. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely think he's a great rider. He's just had an incredible amount of racing. And he's doing some of the classics. He did Roman, he did the Giro. Right after the Giro, he did Dauphiné, and then he came to the Tour de France, and that's unbelievably hard. So to make it this far, hats off to him. He's a great guy. I really like him as a rider. I mean, he's won a stage in all the major stage races. He's a classic guy. So I think it's just time for him to go and get a little bit of rest after the seasons he's had, because he's probably doubled or tripled my number of races to date. So.
Hey, we got one quick question coming in from all the readers. I'm not going to attribute it to any one reader or viewer, I should say, because so many have asked. We'll send a few some socks and whatnot. Keep them coming in. VeloNewsTV at InsideInc.com. Everybody wants to know about your cyclocross racing. Last 2 years, we've seen you out on the cross bike. It's not necessarily a tour-related question, but will we see you racing cross this fall?
I want to do it, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I have a blast doing it. I love the crowds out there, and just the style of racing is something different, and it keeps me a little motivated to stay a little thinner and all that stuff during the winter, which always helps me in January. It's just up to the team whether or not if they're going to re-sign me for next year, and if they're going to re-sign me, I'm sure we can work it out in the contract to have a spot open for me to find some sponsorship to do the cyclocross. So if I can find it, if I can find someone that's looking to support the bill for me to go and do the work and have the mechanic and all that stuff, then I'm going to do it again this year. But it's right now I got to work on my contract for next year on the road, so take care of that, and once that's out of the way, then I'm going to focus on seeing if I can't put together something for the cyclocross stuff.
I remember you and I talked about this a few months ago, and you said you want to do it, but you're not going to be your own mechanic again. You're not going to be dragging the bags around.
Yeah, no, I was talking to my buddy Eric Svim, and he's like, oh, are you going to do the cyclocross again and stuff? And I said, I'm just not going to be the mechanic. Right. I absolutely would love to do it again. And I don't make any money doing it. It's just for fun and stuff like that, and to keep fit. But I want a full-time mechanic, and of course the budget for the flights and all that stuff need to be covered too, which wasn't a problem last year. But getting the mechanic is an absolute necessity because it's too much work.
Yeah. Chris, as always, thanks for the time and the insight. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for tuning in.